Good morning, hopefuls. It's me, Darlene, aka So Hope, and I decided that I'm gonna start doing some videos aside from the things that I do on my Soho page on Facebook. And one of the things that I wanted to do this morning was just give encouragement by showing how I shave my head. I know that during chemo is very difficult. You know, when we think about cancer, we think about two things, especially as women. One is dying, two is losing our hair. Not that we're shallow or that we're vain, but hair is important to a woman. You know, it's taboo to not have hair, especially. It's one thing when you're cutting it off on your own, but then it's another thing if you're losing it. You know, if someone's taking it from you and you feel like it's been stripped from you, you have no control over the situation. And it can be very difficult. It was very difficult for me. I felt more empowered by, actually my husband made me cut it myself, you know, cut it yourself, and at least makes you feel like, okay, I can't control this, but I do have some level of control. I've been speaking with a lot of you who are now going through chemo, and some of that has been the biggest thing, you know, losing my hair, or what I'm going to do. And I know some of the scary things is like, how am I going to look afterwards? Am I going to feel the same about myself? If you have a loved one, are they going to love me, still find me desirable, sexy? All these many things going on in our head, on top of trying to battle this disease and live our life to the fullest. And the one thing that you need to know about this is that's the last thing you need to have on your mind. If you have a person in your life, they love you for who you are. I learned that with my own husband. They love you the way you are, for who you are, and for what you have on outside. And what you have on the inside, but if you're beautiful on the inside, it's going to show itself on the outside. So I'm going to be doing a couple of videos, not all today of course, but do a couple of videos just to showcase different things that I do as I go through my bald experience, and how I handle them. Hopefully it shows some encouragement to all of you beautiful faces who will be watching, and you know, just show you that it's hard at first, but you get through it. You know, you get through it. So as you see, I don't have a lot of hair right now. I did my first shave a couple of weeks ago, last month actually. No, I'm sorry, actually a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't last month. It seems like it, but it's like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And my hair is still growing back. It's growing back pretty fast in the other areas that it didn't come out in, but it's still coming out. So that's kind of interesting. When you scratching your head is itching, and then you get these little hair buds up under your fingernail. So I do shave my head at least. I try to do it once a week maybe, to not get razor bumps, and because I don't want to have the little patches coming in. And so that is one of the things that I'm going to do today. So this is a very easy process, very painless, and it's actually very quick. Now, my initial transition was, I was a natural, or I am a natural. Beautiful, long, curl, long, natural hair, big afro, the whole nine. When I found out that I was going through this and that I was going to have a mastectomy and all of that, I cut my hair down really short to like a short little pixie cut with had a little few curls, because I didn't want my husband trying to wash all the hair, and I know that I wouldn't have been able to because I couldn't lift my hands over my head. After that, when chemo was put on the table for me, I cut it down, faded, like most guys wear it, faded down and wore it brushed down. And I wore that until I started losing my hair, and that's when I shaved it off. I took the trimmers, didn't put a guard on, took it as low as I could, and I smoothed it out with a razor. So from that point on, it's like I'm going to continue using a razor until all of my hair can grow back evenly. So I'm about to get started. I'm going to show you what I use. It's very easy, very simple, nothing difficult to do. Okay, this is just a simple Gillette razor. It has like the, it comes with the 3 blades. It's easier and it's more effective because you only really have to go over it one time, but I always go back over it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I feel around, make sure I don't have any fuzzy spots, any pricklies up there is what I like to call them, or new growth of hair. Just to make sure, because again, like I stated before, when my hair grows back, I want it to all be the same length. And then I also use the Gillette series shaving gel. It's the gel. It actually feels, it's for sensitive skin, and it actually feels so good on your head. It gives you this cool feeling afterwards. It feels wonderful. This I would say it costs between, both of these together, between, I'll say $3 to $4. My husband actually went and bought this, so I can't tell you exactly, but I will get the price and I will let you all know. So I want you ladies to be encouraged. It's actually very painless. It's difficult as it seems, or as hard as it seems. I think the biggest things are mind. How will we look afterwards? How are we going to feel afterwards? What are people going to think? And let me tell you, throughout this process, it really doesn't matter what anybody thinks. You are a warrior. You fought breast cancer. You're beating breast cancer. Who really cares what anyone has to say? That's number one. This is the process that we have to go through. In this process, it comes along with the territory in some cases. You're not alone. We've all had to go there, be there, and it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. But then you also honestly understand that more people respect you than you think. You know, and they really don't care about that. When you begin to also see yourself the way that God sees you, just beautiful, a beautiful, wonderful individual. Hair and no hair, that's just the way you are. Okay, so I'm sorry, I like to warm my water. It took a little while because it's cold, it's a little cool outside. So, you do the norm, big simple water. Nothing so special. To make sure that you have. And then I always just like to get my towel, my washcloth, and then I like to wipe my head down, wet it down a little bit. You know, even though the gel is smooth enough by itself, I like to just wet it to give it a little help. Do you have to? No. But it works for me. Now with this gel, you really don't need a lot because it smooths on so good. So I always have to remind myself that because I always end up using too much over my hand. So I just roll it together, get this little blue color, and just smooth it over your head. And actually, being bald can be addictive because as much as I love my hair, and I do, it feels good sometimes when it's time to go somewhere, not to have to go through all that. You know, the whole 2 hours of twisting and untwisting and twist out. You kind of get a little spoiled. You understand what all the fella kicks about. And see, even though you use a little bit, you still got all this on your hands. So this could last you for, you definitely get your money for it. It'll last you for a good little while. Okay, so you get your old trusty razor. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like if, you know, how we do our other areas. Just dip it in the water. And you just shave. Now, everybody's hair grows differently. And I've learned that through this process. So you shave your head according to how your hair grows. Because you want to go against the grain. And it makes it easier, simpler, and you don't really have to spend all day. I learned that. There we go. Just this simple. you also want to make sure you have a new razor. You don't want no dull, you know, little funky razor or easel razor you didn't use to shave other areas. You want a nice fresh razor that's specifically for your head. And then you know your arm where you are. So you also don't want to dig deep because you don't want to get any sores. Not to tell my husband that. Or any scabs. But you just want to, it's so simple. In some essence, it feels like running a comb. Running a comb over your head, over your bald head is what it feels like. I wish I would have did this when I had my first, when I cut it off the first time. But I just pray that this helps. You know, sometimes when we see another person doing it, we get empowered and understand and feel like, hey, if she's doing it, I can do it too. And this is all this is about. I know that losing your hair is hard because I had a whole lot of it. And I know that as a woman, especially, you know, my heart goes out if you're a woman that had really long hair, because I understand, you know. But I've always learned, I go by a motto that I always use, and I said there's a silver lining in every cloud. If only you open your eyes to see it. You know, things in our life happen, and it doesn't necessarily happen for us. It happens for other people around us. You know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to them. It's a blessing to us. It's a blessing to everyone involved. Everyone involved. And we just have to understand that. And all the time it's not fair. You know, all the time it's not fun. And a lot of times it just leaves us thinking like, Lord, why me? But it's to help someone. It could be a relative or people watching you. You never know, you know, how that may work out. But it's all for a reason. We should never take that for granted. Because, you know, it's a process. You know, everything, this whole thing is a process. Relearning how to do things, you know, accepting yourself for who you are. It's a process, especially if you've grown happy with what you've seen, like myself, for the last 31 years or so. You grew into this person that you thought you were supposed to be. And for you, it could have been longer. But it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And you just have to take it as such. Not easy. There's a difference. I did notice I did not say easy. I said blessing. So as you see, I'm moving along pretty quickly. I'm on the back already. Almost finished. And it's actually interesting because I thought that, you know, when I did this, especially with the razor, that my head would be all shiny. Like some people you see. But actually it's not. It did not happen that way. My hair is still relatively, I mean, it's kind of spotty. It's not shiny. I think in part because I did not lose all of my hair. I just lost it in spots. And so I got all of the cream off, and I feel relatively smooth, but I do have some prickly parts. So when I have the prickly parts, I just take a little bit like I did before, and I just go around where those prickly parts are. My hair grows all the way down here. Darn you, Grandpa. It's a family thing that we do, that we have. And so I just put a little more shaving cream in some of those areas that that's still kind of prickly that I might have missed. You know, feel around, make sure that I got it all. Now, the one thing about the bald head, I will say, and I guess it kind of depends on each person, but it does itch. It itches and itches and itches. And so, when it comes time, when your hair starts growing back, when it comes time for that process, that growing process, my, it just really itches. So it's always good to have a good cream on hand. You know, not a cream, but whatever you use. Me, I'm a naturalist. So even though my head is bald, I still treat my head like I got a head full of natural hair. So I use my natural product. The most thing I use right now is your scalp is going to be sensitive. If you don't know that already, your oncologist probably told you. So the best thing to use is like a baby shampoo. That's what I use as far as the cleansing of my scalp. But when it comes down to the actual moisturizing, I still put on a leave-in conditioner for my scalp. Some people may not agree, but you know what I mean, it's each his own, because I have an itchy scalp. This is my little bottle of extra virgin olive oil that I use. So I put on the conditioner first, I put this on, and then I put on this coconut oil. Now, it's an organic coconut oil. Now, you don't necessarily have to use this particular brand. Long as it's a good coconut oil and it's unrefined, it does wonders for the itchiness that your head feels. And not only the itchiness, but it also leaves your head with this beautiful shine, and it smells so good. So good. So that is definitely a good investment. Ours cost us about $13.99. We went to the health food store and got it. Because you do, sometimes Schnucks will sell it, but it's refined. And there's a big difference, because refined is more for cooking. And you can put it on there, but you're not going to get the, whole, you know, good smell and the whole nutrients that you want to get from it to keep your scalp moisturized. So it's always good to use the unrefined, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm just going over all my other, my little pricklies I left behind. Again, a relatively short process. I'm not feeling around again. See if I feel any more pricklies. And I don't. Alright, girl. I feel pretty meaty. Now, my hair looks a lot lighter in some areas, and yours might be too, if you don't lose all your hair, because that's the area where your hair actually fell out. So it's more of a ball feeling. So it's like in the top of my head, it's actually lighter than the other side of my head. But that's okay. That's why we feel around to make sure that we have it all done. So you get done with that, and that's the process. And so my final step that I do is I get my old trusty wash rag again. And I just take it and I just wipe all the excess, any shaving cream left. I just wipe the excess off. Yep, now I'm nice and low and ready to go. Alright. Okay. So my hopefuls, this is it. I'm trying to get as close as I can without, you know, this is what it looks like. Afterwards you might say to yourself, oh, it doesn't really look like a difference. And if it didn't, okay. But I wanted to just give you guys a little encouragement that I'm in this fight with you. I'm still, you know, even though I am taking a different approach to my health than with the chemotherapy, I'm still affected by different things. I'm still going through it with you. And we're in this battle and this fight together. And so I plan on doing some more segments. My next segment is going to talk about, you know, how do we rock this? Like, how do we wear this? It's getting cold outside. You know, some of us may be like, I don't want to wear, you know, wear my bald. I don't want to see my bald head. And the other person may be like, and I really don't want to wear a wig. So how do I rock this? How do I make this look good? Well, your girl is going to show you how. So until next time, my hopefuls, know that I love you. And I'll talk to you later. Always remember, stay hopeful.